Hello, my lovely viewers. Today's video was picked thanks to some of my friends in the Discord server. If you want more information, it will be provided by the end of the video. Today we will be discussing the Flayed ones and Maynarkh dynasty. You might be wondering what the Maynarkh dynasty is. Well, they were one of the Necron-tier's most militant dynasties, being seen as the militant right hand of the Silent King to fight his most desperate and hardest of battles. But the C'tan would trick them into building a soul transfer device, which would put their minds into brand new bodies made from necrodermis. Afterwards, gaining the title of Necrons. And the C'tan would end up devouring their souls due to the fact that during the biotransference, they would end up losing their souls and only their minds being put into their new bodies. This gives the C'tan a huge power boost and put the Necrons and C'tan on an even playing field with the old ones, Kroorks, and Eldar. But we all know how this tale eventually ends. The Necrons turn on the C'tan, the Enslaver Plague ends up wiping out the old ones, and the Necrons decide to hit a 60 million year slumber, so that way they'll be able to wake up and fight a weakened Eldar Empire, and it becomes true. The Kroorks end up dying out, becoming the Orcs, and the Eldar eventually become so, best way to put it, depraved, they end up creating a murder bang god that eats most of their souls and almost the entirety of their pantheon. But everyone but the Silent King would end up going into this slumber, due to the fact that he realized it was a mistake turning all of his people into soulless robots. So he'd end up traveling around the galaxy, blah blah blah. That's a whole different thing that deserves a video on its own, and many other wonderful people in this community have already made their own videos explaining what the Silent King did. But before he did, he destroyed all their really powerful stuff, and also he'd end up also destroying his complete control over them, so that when they reawaken, they'd have their own free will. But, come on. Obviously, the second these guys woke up, they went straight to fighting other dynasties, bringing back the old feuds they had right before the War in Heaven. This is where the Maynarkh dynasty finally gets to be talked about, due to the fact that many of these dynasties were kind of rightfully so being pissed off about the fact that they kind of lost their souls. So, because of that, they kind of started hating the Silent King for abandoning his duties, but the Maynarkh dynasty were still loyal to him. But, of course, this also led to a huge dislike of the Maynarkh dynasty, so much so that other Necron dynasties would attack any Maynarkh worlds they would find that weren't able to fully awaken. Yet, alas, they are still one of the strongest, most capable, and more importantly, more brutal of the Necron dynasties, due to the fact that many of their tomb worlds still have fully managed to awaken, and they're rightfully so pissed about other Necrons coming to kill them while they're sleeping. But more importantly, they're pissed off about all those pathetic organic flesh that theirs call this galaxy theirs, and they'll rightfully so reclaim it. But, of course, still being one of the most militarized dynasties can have some drawbacks, like the flayed one virus. Now, this is where things get a little interesting, because you see, if you're immortal for all of eternity, what's the worst thing that can happen? You get stuck with pain, end up losing a limb or something? Well, think about it. Wouldn't it just be boredom? Not fear, not sadness, not anger, not hunger. Just boredom. That's exactly what the flayed one virus takes advantage of. It's a disease that infects Necrons. And once it does, it slowly starts to change them. Instead of using ranged weapons, they'll become more close-range weapons and less long-range. Soon enough, they'll start collecting the flesh of the dead enemies. They'll begin to wear it, attempt to even consume it. They'll forget about the melee weapons, instead utilizing their new bodies, which slowly morph and change into something almost unrecognizable. As soon, all they crave for is just flesh. Their boredom now being replaced with a need and hunger for the consumption of flesh. Yet they have no mouth to consume the flesh with. So all they'll do is chop it up, wear the flesh, and cram it where their mouth should be. This is where I believe some of their true horror kicks in. Not from the fact that they're mindless monsters and shells of what they used to be. Not from how terrifying it would be to face one of these things as they cut you down and as you watch while you're still alive, feeling the life draining from you as they take your limbs and attempt to consume them in front of you. But from the fact that this all stems from boredom, how eventually it evolves and you don't even recognize the fact that you're slowly becoming a depraved and ravenous monster. And this, of course, all eventually stems back to the Maynarkh dynasty, due to the fact that they have the highest population of flayed ones. But also, here's something about flayed ones. Any Necron can theoretically catch the flayed one virus, but once they do, it's far more easy to transmit it, meaning one flayed one becomes 2, 2 become 4, 4 become 117, 117, you get my point. And because of this, Necrons typically exterminate entire groups of them, due to the fact it's a health hazard for all Necrons. But the reason why also this circles back to the Maynarkh dynasty, other than the fact they have the highest infection rate, because of the fact that they're the most militant, meaning they have far more soldiers, which get into close combat, meaning it's far more easier for them to succumb to it, but also due to the fact that it was their dynasty that killed a Catan that ended up giving them this virus. That was the only ever Catan that the Necrons killed. I forgot its name, forgive me. But basically after they killed it, this virus began to spread amongst them. Well, obviously not just the Maynarkh, but all dynasties. Alright, well, that marks the end of this video. Thank you, anyone who decided to stick around until the end. Now, if this video reaches, I don't know, like let's say 30 likes, I'll do a Creeks video. I'll try doing the best one I can. But I'll link the Discord to the description for anyone who else wants to participate within that vote. Anyways, drink some water, hug your mothers, have a fantastic day.